We're recording.
Awesome.
Also, I'm a one take pony.
Okay.
One take pony, one shot pony, whatever.
Okay.
I don't re-record. I don't
So
edit.
raw.
I don't like cut out stuff. It is what it is.
I respect it.
From right now until the end, we're officially recording.
I respect it. I respect it.
What is up, YouTube?
So we are live currently from downtown Greensboro, believe it or not, from a pizza parlor that is kind of indicative to a New York
She's a natural.
bodega. So
She's
it's
a natural. I'm not ready, and you're so prepared.
amazing the vibes that we have right now. He's giggling right now, but it's totally fine. We're keeping it cool. We're keeping it relaxed. We're keeping it chill.
I don't know why this is so funny. It's it just is.
I think it's because we're a little inebriated. We're a little inebriated.
It's not even. Maybe it is.
Just
Okay.
a tip. Just a
Slight
tip.
influence.
It's okay.
Slight influence.
It's okay.
And that is okay. Jesus turned water into wine for his first miracle, so don't
He did.
judge me.
You did. Yeah. There is the possibilities are endless. Is basically what we're saying right now.
But to be clear, everybody's safe. Don't judge us. Judge your mama.
Judge your mama. Oh my god.
But what's up, y'all? This is a very interesting episode for Thoughts of a Gabe. So let's see. Let's set the scene. So I try to set the scene for most of the ones that I remember to set the scene for. We are, as my lovely co-host, co-guest? Not co-guest. What would it be?
Co-host? Guest? It's guest.
Not
It's
co-host.
Guest. It's
Yes.
guest.
My
Yeah.
lovely guest for today, episode stated we are at a what's this place called? I've never come here.
Pisano's? I think it's called
I've
Pisano's.
only come here with you, and
Yeah.
no, I've only come here. I've never come
That's
by
fair.
myself. I've
That's
never
fair.
come with
That's
anybody
fair.
else.
I think I only come here when I am a little inebriated.
And just
I
need a little
want
pick-me-up.
pizza.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
just a
saying? I
little
just need to get
pick-me-up.
sober.
Exactly.
You know?
Get some carbs.
Just some carbs. Drink some water.
Soak it up a little bit.
You know?
You know.
Kind of even out that 50-50 ratio of
Being
alcohol
smart
and carbs.
out here.
Being smart. Yeah.
You just gotta be street savvy. You can't go home and not feel better.
Exactly. I have a dog to feed. So
Exactly.
There's a lot
And
of importance
Ghosty.
to that.
Shout out to Ghost.
Ghostifer.
Holding it down. Ghostifer. Ghostifer? You've never said that.
Ghostifer. That's technically.
new one.
That's technically his full legal name.
Ghostifer?
Now, listen, I call him Ghostifer.
Is that a play off Christopher?
Kind of, yes.
Oh my.
It's
I've
a cute
never
name.
known that.
I think it's a cute name.
Why am I finding that out now though?
You know,
I've
maybe
literally
I'm just getting more
heard
comfortable
I've
around
heard
you.
ever since you moved down here, I've heard nothing but ghost.
That's true.
Or
That's fair.
ghosty.
That's fair.
I've never heard
The
Ghostifer.
more comfortable I get around you, the more I express.
I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like you should have been comfortable I feel like you should have been comfortable a while ago.
You're right.
But we're gonna move past it. We'll move past it.
We'll take it. We'll take it with a grain of sand.
Well, what's the name of this place?
I think it's called Pisano's.
Pisano's?
If I'm totally wrong, by the way, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter. You
It's
can't
not like
really
we're
do
getting
much.
paid
Exactly.
in here to do this.
This is all for fun. You're just listening for fun. But we might be at Pisano's. We're on the inside. So typically I'd be like parking deck by myself, outside somewhere spacious. People might walk by, but it's not like a closed-in area with people. But we are legit with a laptop, a microphone.
Next
we're
to ATM machine, a Michelob Ultra sign. We're doing great.
This is so.
We're doing great.
But this is obviously this is the vision
This is the vision.
for Thoughts of a Gabe. Just being random, showing up wherever, doing a podcast episode wherever. She's got pizza crust sitting in front of her.
I've had like
It's
4
people
slices.
ordering.
Yeah.
It's what? What time is it? 1:17 in the morning. Oh my goodness. I thought it was like 12 something.
It's insane.
But okay. All right, bet. Whatever. That's the setting. It's a cool night tonight. It rained earlier this morning. Then it got sunny. But it's still cool. It's cool. We both got flannels on. And it's still a little nippy. I ain't gonna lie to you.
It's very much spring.
But it's definitely spring. It rained. After it rained this morning, I was like, oh, nice. My car's going to be a little bit clean. I don't got to, like, go to the car wash immediately. But then, when it was done, it was a bunch of freaking pollen.
Yeah, tree sperm.
And I'm just like...
That's what it is. It's tree sperm.
Hey,
It's tree
yo,
sperm.
tree sperm.
That's
Oh,
what it is.
wow.
I hate to break it to you.
Tree sperm.
It's tree sperm.
All right, that's what we're going with. Tree
When I
sperm.
get scientific,
Tree sperm.
this is me getting scientific.
The Greek, the Latin root word for tree pollen is spermionis. Oh,
Your
man.
car is currently covered in tree sperm.
That's
You're
great.
welcome.
That's great.
You're welcome.
No, it rained again. On my way to Charlotte today, it rained again.
Yeah.
So it's completely gone. All the tree sperm. I've never, of all the years that I've acknowledged pollen, and I'm like, oh yeah, pollen helps the trees, pollen helps the flowers, the bees, pollinating, all that. I've never, so that's probably about a solid, what's that, probably like 2014, 2013, I actually acknowledged pollen as a way of like the ecosystem and being part of, birth and spring.
Yeah, yeah.
So what, that's 17, wait. 2014, 6, 3, it's almost 8 to 9 years.
That's 9
For
years.
8 to 9 years, I've never acknowledged it as tree sperm. This is a first.
Yeah, yeah.
I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate
You're
you.
welcome. I want to make sure that you are fully educated in what is happening
Indeed.
in the ecosystem
Indeed.
and how it affects your car, your windshield,
Indeed.
and your sinuses when you walk outside. Because I guarantee you, you will sneeze. In the peak of spring, you will sneeze. It's going to be pretty rampant. You're probably going to sneeze in 3s, maybe 5s. But you will sneeze.
Also, just a note, she is a part of the whole doctor, health, physical wellness, knowledge, educational realm. She does. She monitors the brain during brain surgeries. So she knows. She knows what's up with the whole body and affected by the outside nature stuff or whatever.
I know a little bit. My major was biology.
Okay.
That's about it.
As you heard, I said she monitors the brain, so she knows more than a little bit. I don't know why she just said that. But anywho, speaking of sinuses, let's go ahead and get into our topic.
I agree.
Speaking of sinuses. So what's been, I asked Taylor, if I haven't said that already, her name is Taylor.
Hi.
Young TT, Taylor Tarte. Is it Tarte or Tart?
It's tart, even though it's
Tart.
Haitian, so technically it should be tarte, but I've always gone
Okay.
by tart.
Yeah, it's Tarte.
Yeah, that's it.
Tarte.
That
Right.
is it.
I've always said tart.
That's totally fair.
But
That's
then I
how it
was
should
like,
be.
she's black, so it could be Tarte. I
It
don't
could
know.
be. I could put a little like accent on it, a little flair, but
If you wanted to, you could.
if I wanted to, technically I could. It's Creole
could.
in a sense, so I
You
could.
could.
I could.
Oh yeah, because that'd be French and
That would be cute. My
French
whole
and something
name
else.
could technically sound like a French name. Like my middle name is Sinclair, so I could go Taylor Sinclair Tart.
Sinclair.
When they look up my profile, I'm pretty
Whoa.
sure they're gonna be shocked when they find out that it's a black woman with locks. And an
Wow.
undercut. They're gonna
I
be
didn't know your
shocked.
middle name was Sinclair.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't tell you my middle name. As I've shared with you guys, my middle name is somewhat sacred to me. If I share my middle name, it means we're like we're close. Like we're not somewhat close. Like we're actually like I appreciate your life and how you affect me. So I can't just say my middle name right now, but I'll tell you my middle name after this.
I got it.
Remind me to tell you.
I will.
Because I haven't told you, have I?
I feel like you might have, and I might.
What's the letter it starts with?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay, good.
That's what I was saying. I feel like you might have, but I might not have appreciated it.
This also might not be a good time to ask.
Probably isn't. Probably not at 2 o'clock in the morning in a pizza parlor in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Oh,
No.
gosh. But it's a beautiful night, so let's get into it. What was your thoughts? What have you been thinking about in the past 30 seconds to 2 minutes?
I've been thinking about a lot. I've been thinking about a lot. I want to make sure you guys can hear me because I know I speak very, very softly. But, as Gabe mentioned to me before, I want to say that I think that a lot of how we're living revolves around certain parameters that kind of constrict us a little bit. And I think that it also plays out sometimes into how we're dating and how we select the people that we hang out with.
Ooh.
I think that obviously, society wants us to hang around like-minded people, which is fair because
This is true.
that's technically what you want to be. You don't want to be uncomfortable with people that you don't like, right? You want to be with someone that you're comfortable with and that you can have similar interests and that you can talk about anything with. You want to be yourself, right?
Your full, authentic you.
Yes.
No parameters, no, hey guys, this is just me. None of that.
No. I think there should be a natural emotion or a natural feeling that goes along when you hang out with people.
For sure.
And I feel like sometimes that religion can be a little constricting with that. And I think that also plays a little bit into dating. Yeah. And I know I'm going to piss off a whole bunch of people because I've been through the whole apologetic.
And we don't care.
We don't care. We don't care.
This is our feelings.
These are our
Well,
feelings.
this is her feelings and then my feelings mixed in. So this is our feelings together. Listen to us.
Loud and clear. We want to be raw, right? So we want to be as
Yes.
honest and as understanding and, just kind of go with the flow, right? So a part of me has been thinking about this a lot. I've had the luxury of having some time to really reflect on how I really connect with people and how empathy plays a major part in that.
Okay.
I think that sometimes with empathy, there has to be a little bit of comprehension, and there has to be a little bit of leniency, right?
Comprehension and leniency. So
Yes.
understanding from others or understanding of oneself?
It's kind of a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Have the
Okay.
confidence with yourself before you can effectively communicate with other people in a sense where you can understand where they're coming from. You got to understand?
Okay.
You want to be able to have a conversation and listen actively.
Yeah.
And a part of that comes with...
Americans suck at that, by the way.
We do, we do because a lot of
Not all
distraction
of
with
us.
social media. Yes.
Not all of us.
Not all
Just
of us, no.
just a good handful. A
I
big
like
handful.
To believe, I like to believe like there's certain individuals, aka Gabe here, who are very capable of. Yes, I know. They're very capable of actively listening to people that they're around. And I think that opens up a lot of emotions that aren't typically shared among people that are in like the regular population.
Facts.
I want to make sure that people understand what I'm saying.
Please do.
Because I think that sometimes it can be taken as people feel like they need to reject their own religion or reject their own emotions in order to understand people. No, that's not the case.
No, not at all.
It just means
Not
that
at
when
all.
you come to somebody, you want to make sure that you are kind of a bit of a clean slate, but you always maintain the core of your individuality. You never lose yourself to accommodate someone else. No. You just simply want to be an active listener, and that's not a very hard task to do. The comprehension part might be a little bit difficult because that does mean that you have to check your ego.
Facts.
And that does mean that some of the things that you don't agree with, you may have to just let slide and come back to later.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And in my mind, that's like, even as you say that, it's like when I'm listening to somebody that has a different point of view or on whatever it is, it doesn't even matter. It's like I'm not coming at it to like what's a good word for it? To give a rebuttal,
Yeah.
but it's more so I want to ask questions. I want to put in these fillers to have a better understanding. It's like it doesn't matter where I stand. I want to understand them more so that way the conversation is better enhanced because I'm not trying to make it a wrong or right type of thing.
Exactly.
You know, because obviously we're all we're different individuals. No one feels exactly the same way as somebody else in this world. No one at all. It's not even possible. Like we're not even built that way.
Yeah.
So it's like it'd be stupid for me to take and hear somebody's standpoint on anything in this world and say, okay, you're wrong and this is why I'm right. You know, or you're the way you understand something doesn't make sense, but hey, this is how I understand it. You know, because then that can also again still come off as a wrong or right type thing.
Right.
So yes, no, you're exactly
I totally
right.
understand. And then to sum up that basically means is, are you listening to understand or are you listening to respond?
Right. Or even to argue. Some people like to argue.
A lot of people love to argue because, of course, it's an
crazy.
ego thing. Everyone wants to say that, hey, I'm the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
So, therefore, everything that you say to me is completely irrelevant. I want to boost my ego.
Yeah,
I want
that's the
you to
thing,
see
too.
how great I am. And if that means that I hurt you, then that just happens.
Do you think that's just America?
It could be. I think a little bit of capitalism plays into that because with capitalism comes a repression of your morale because
So that's
you have to step over people in order to be the best, right?
So that's maybe America, a large portion of Europe, most of Asia, a good slither of Africa. You know,
Yeah,
those places where it's still. I was about to say apartheid, not apartheid. Where they're still having like the reign of like old past governments or whatever. It's slipping my mind. I can't even think of the
I want to
words.
say, I want to say that majority of it happens when you have a little bit of a capitalist mindset. Any point in time where you have to create tiers and economic growth, I feel like, or economic, what's the word I'm looking for? Economic groups. I fear there is that fight to climb over the bottom groups or, to climb over other people in order to be at the top.
Indeed.
And I think that that's an enormous pressure, and I think that people use religion to get to that. I think that people use people's downfalls to get to that. I feel that even sometimes people use their family to get to that.
Most definitely.
Everybody is crawling to the top to be meaningful or to be financially elite to a point where they think that they have this ideology of freedom, but in reality, it doesn't really provide as much freedom as we made it. Is sacrificing your morale worth gaining that little bit of financial freedom that you have?
Is it worth it, bro?
Is it worth it? Don't get me wrong, finances are great. I definitely...
It's necessary to make sure you're taking care of your finances.
You have to. Unfortunately, I mean, this world that we live in, we have to take care of our debt. We have to take care of our groceries. We have to take care of our health care. We have to take care of our housing.
Yep.
Those are essentials. We want to be able to have a little bit of happiness with that financial wealth, right? We want to be able to travel. We want to be able to do things that make us comfortable. But if at any point it's sacrificing your morale, you have to ask yourself, is it something that's worth it? Is my happiness worth destroying someone else? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, let's get into the what you were saying earlier about the
So I feel my relationship with religion has constantly been a bit of an ebb and flow. Okay, I started off with growing up as a Christian, right, and going to Baptist churches and experiencing some of the different dynamics with community there. and then migrating into college, and then trying to understand, with CO, excuse me, and trying to understand what the core of Christianity is.
Slight backstory. Me and Taylor met at what was that?
Ooh.
Beach Project? Was that Beach Project?
No, but before that, we met at the New Year's projects. What's the project?
My first. So CO is campus outreach. I've mentioned campus outreach before, but it's just a college ministry at different campuses on the southeast, west, whatever, international. And my first CO trip, campus outreach trip, was Beach Project, and then after that was I literally did everything.
Really?
Up until 2017. Yeah. Yeah, all the fall retreats, all the beach projects, I did CC. I got to do CCP. So like my first one was Beach Project.
Wow.
So I didn't
That
meet
can't
you
be
at
right.
Beach Project?
No.
In
we
20
met.
what,
I'm gonna
15?
I'm gonna break it down for you.
I didn't meet you in 2015 at Beach Project.
No. We met.
In South Carolina. I did not meet you at Beach Project.
That was the third time we met. The first time
Third
we met.
time we met?
I went to
No
I went
way.
to New Year's conference
No
in
way.
Washington D.C.
I didn't
two
go-
times.
No.
2 times, and we met. Whoa, Gabe.
My first
had-
CO trip was a Beach Project.
Okay, maybe in
I'm
the
telling
past,
you.
but I know I wasn't there. I didn't go to Beach Project.
Okay,
until
so we
I-
met at a New Year's conference then.
We met at New Year's conference.
Okay, so we didn't meet at
I
my
went to
first
New
beach
Year's
conference.
conference twice.
Okay, bet. I went to
then
like
I
3 of them.
went-
I'm going to 3.
Right, and
2
then
in
I
DC
went
and 1 in
to-
Raleigh.
To Beach Project, yeah.
Okay, so we met at a big conference
Yeah.
in DC.
Yeah.
It had to be DC.
It was DC.
It was DC.
Yeah.
So they let a bunch of college students stay at a hotel. They did a bunch of like at the time I thought it was cool at the time. I didn't really see like the ins and outs of like what was really happening and how they were the taxes that were being used. I mean, there's a scripture in the Bible that talks about, if the gospel's going forth, like praise God, but obviously it still hurts when it's like the gospel's being used in a way to kind of trick and manipulate in certain ways, but still be preached. So, that's just that's something that took time for me to figure out and learn for something that I was involved in for a long time. So, anywho, we met at a New Year's conference. It was like a 4 or 5 day type event, 4-day type
I
event.
want to say 4 days. DC.
A bunch of different seminars about how to be a college student, trying to serve God and believe in Jesus and
spread
follow
the
Jesus.
word.
How to evangelize, how to prioritize your time and be a Christian at college. How to I think they had like a career focused type thing maybe.
It was a career focused part thing, but I think the biggest part of it
But that was
the
on
dating.
for like seniors, and then there was like a dating thing.
Yeah.
And you guys have heard me talk about the dating stuff. Oh gosh, I'm not even gonna get into that. But y'all, if you've heard of an episode and I've talked about that, you already know what's up. But yes, so yes.
Okay, so now you have a little bit of backstory of how we met. Through the molding of, I guess, and then obviously my past relationship with the church, and then further kind of understanding where, certain other religions kind of play a part in society. I read numerous books. I tried to understand Islam and Judaism and Buddhism and Hinduism and, so many different types. And there's like kind of a main objective. And I think sometimes I think that we get a little caught up in what that objective is. And I know I'm going to be very radical in what I say that objective is, and I'm pretty sure people are going to disagree with me, and that's fine because I have to speak openly and I have to speak my word, right? And I think a lot of it revolves around control. I do.
That's a fact. I can attest to you that that's a fact, bro. That's a fact.
I think
Big fact.
that a lot of why we do things and how we structure our faith is a lot of man-made institutions, a lot of man-made structure, and anything that's man-made, is destined to be corrupt.
Indeed.
And so,
Indeed.
whenever I think about that, it makes me think of religion as a whole, and I tend to think that religion as a whole is man-made. If you think about the things that are being put in place, people who write it, people who have the church services, people who have the mosque services, people who have the temple services, or any kind of service, it's being man-made, and to me that makes it very difficult to understand or to follow in a way that is uncorrupt.
And what I like about you picking this topic is that she has a totally different view from me, and it's like I have a way different experience than you, but obviously I'm aware to these things that you're mentioning and talking about, and that's good. That's necessary for you to have a holistic understanding and viewpoint for yourself, because it's like if it's just one-sided, that's stupid. But if you're not willing to like talk about this stuff with other people and not hear their take on it or hear somebody else take on it, it's like, what's the point of you having a view on something?
Right.
If you just sticking with yours no matter what.
Very true.
Like
The
you got to
world
be
is
open.
expensive.
Yeah, you got to be open to yourself being wrong. Like I've been wrong about stuff in the Bible. I've been wrong about just life in general. Like, and so I enjoy topics like this because it allows myself to think from not only my perspective, but the other person's perspective as well.
Yeah. And I think that I applaud you for that, Gabe, because that's a very hard thing to do. It's hard to check your ego.
Oh, definitely.
It's super hard.
Because it's easy to be like, oh, you just need Jesus. You need God. You know what I'm saying? Like, over religiousize it and be like, forget you as a person. You just need God. Like, nah, that's not where it's at, man.
And I think that's a trap that a lot of people fall into, and they miss the point completely.
Most definitely.
Because they aren't willing to listen. And don't get me wrong, I'm like, just like Gabe, I'm very open to understanding different people's perspectives, and I've taken the time to listen to other people and to study other people and to study books and to listen to different things and different perspectives, because the world and the universe are just extremely, extremely expansive. I don't think people understand sometimes how big the universe is and how small and insignificant we are.
But not even that, just the world.
Just the
world. Think of how many people groups we haven't encountered, like personally.
Very true.
How many countries we haven't been to and we don't really understand the culture. How many unknown people groups that we haven't even listened to. I watch Nat Geo, and like I like learning about new unreached or whatever people groups. Right. Like there was one where it was a cannibalism people group that lived in some country.
Wow.
And apparently there was like some of them that like turned into Christians. I'm like, what? How was you eating people and then find Jesus? How the heck that happened? Like I was like, ain't no way. I'm like, this is wild. But then I watch it and I'm just like, yo, okay, so these people was eating people but found Jesus, but there's still people eating people like just out there. And I'm like, that's crazy. Yep. And it's like, I have no idea what it's like. So you just can't, it's too much to be one-minded and one-track minded and not open to other stuff.
There is a lot of things out here that we haven't seen, and that, I mean, if you even think about in general how some people don't even leave their house on a regular basis. Excuse me, I have hiccups, by the way. But there's a lot of people that don't even leave their house.
Oh, and what's that called? It's called,
I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name.
So my favorite movie series, Ocean's 11. They said it in Ocean's 12, and I can't remember. Nope, Ocean's 13, and I can't remember.
It's a classic.
I love Oceans, but I can't remember. Arachnophobia. Not arachnophobia.
No, baby, that's
Dang
spiders.
it, I forgot. But continue, I'm sorry.
It's all good. But there's my point is, excuse me, sorry.
Stop
The hiccups.
apologizing, bro. Don't nobody
hiccups.
care.
My point is that the universe is expansive, the world is expansive, and I think that we're missing out when we don't get a chance to see, what we can see, when we get the opportunity to do so, and then we don't take the chance to listen.
For sure.
And I think a lot of this also, which is transitioning into another touchy topic that I'm sure everybody is always interested in terms of how relationships play out, because we're living in a world now where chances are you might end up dating somebody that doesn't necessarily match up with you on a religious aspect. And that's okay if you know how to check your ego and you know how to check who you are as a person. Are you confident enough and sure enough in your faith where you can effectively and calmly accept the faith of your significant other? And I think that requires a very deep understanding that is almost, I hate to say it, but it's almost astronomical right now. There's
In what way?
So I say that because we love to have the honeymoon phase, right? We love to have the part where we meet the person.
I don't know what that's like, but I've heard about it.
Give it time. I don't know. I don't really know either, but...
Shut up. Don't even.
I've been in a few relationships, but the relationships that I have had
Must be nice to have a relationship.
Oh my God, here we go.
They've heard. My day ones have heard about my story in dating.
We'll talk about that in another podcast of why he's single.
Oh gosh.
I'm just kidding.
Sad life.
But we live in a world now where we have kind of a melting pot of ideology. We have a melting pot of religions. We have a melting pot of
That's true.
Perspectives that require us to be a little bit more lenient of who we are as people. I think that is a very challenging thing to come across because even non-religious people have this issue. Excuse me. Sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I keep hiccuping. Goodness.
Stop apologizing.
It's the alcohol. But even as a non-religious person, now to be clear, I do believe in God, and I do still accept the fact that I have been saved by Jesus Christ. I understand that, and I know everybody's gonna get pissed at me because they're gonna be like, "How do you call yourself a Christian if that's?" I don't identify with any religion per se because I feel like religion is man-made, and I think that makes things very difficult. I feel like that makes things very difficult for me as a person because I feel like, once again, like I mentioned before, that men tend to be corrupt. Man tends to be corrupt. Everything that we touch creates chaos on purpose because we're not God.
Fair. That's very fair.
We're not God. So that makes things very difficult. So in the essence, that means that I've dated very, different types of religions and different types of ideologies. And I found that there is a commonplace or a what's the word I'm looking for? There is a similarity in all of those things, and a lot of it is our ego. Believe it or not, I think that we grasp onto things that we feel that we understand on a deeper level, and that's fair because as humans, we want to learn, we want to absorb everything, and we want to believe that we are the most intelligent species on the planet because technically we are.
Very much so.
We've got all this machinery. We've developed all of these civilizations and things like that no other species has been able to do, and that is amazing. That is incredible how we can do that.
It's wild that white people tried to say we derived from monkeys. That's crazy.
That's
It
interesting.
still doesn't make sense.
So, all right. So
It
here's where we
still
disagree.
doesn't
Here's
make
where we disagree. Here's where we disagree. Okay. It's funny that you bring this up because I believe in evolution. I do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
I do believe that there was something that happened
Okay.
that may have branched off and created something that was incredibly intelligent.
So some type of species long time ago got into some chemical X type stuff and it turned into a human or turned into a Homo sapien.
Here's why I say
Homo
that.
Homo sapien? Or
Here's
Homo
why I
sapien?
say that. If the world, if the species that we have now are so complex and so intelligent, how is that not possible? How are the resources that we have currently? Take a moment.
Okay.
There is this, there's a shroom theory, okay, that
There's a
states,
what?
there's a shroom theory.
Shroom theory, okay.
There is a
shroom
compound, a
theory?
shroom theory, yeah, based off mushrooms that contain. Listen. I know you're gonna laugh.
Okay, we could go ahead and count this one out. I know I said I'm open-minded, but we count this one out. They talk about shrooms.
Listen. There's a theory, and I'm simply talking.
that's
I'm
funny.
simply talking from the books that I've read.
Okay.
There is a theory that chimpanzees or bonobos, which we kind of share a lot of our identity with, they state that they believe that they've encountered psilocybin, and their frontal lobes develop to a point where they can have emotional intelligence and eventually develop into Homo sapiens that we are today.
Whoa.
Crazy.
So that touches into animals having emotions, and then that specific animal having enough experience or contact with whatever caused them to have more emotional.
Yeah, and
that's different.
their theory is because
But that speaks to all animals. Sorry.
No, it doesn't
that speaks
necessarily-
that speaks to the entire human race.
it speaks to the originality of the human race. It's a theory.
Interesting.
It's just a theory. It's stating that if you were to separate us from chimpanzees, one of the big things that we have is our frontal lobe development, and it's one of the
And
last
that's all
things.
humans.
And that's
not
all
just
human.
that white people said, "Hey, black people came from this," or
No.
like, okay,
No.
this is the original
Just because our skin
evolution.
color is different, we have a couple of genomes that are slightly different. All in all, we are Homo sapiens, right? Okay. And with that, there is a major development in our frontal lobes that make us so impactful, so
Okay.
different than other species, because we can make those decisions based on not just calculation, but on emotion. That is insanely different from the world, like the millions of other species out here. That doesn't mean that other species are dumb. No. When you add emotion to your decision making, it makes the decision that much more important.
See, that's why I think for myself, and again, like I said, opposite views, but there's no harm in having any conversation like this. It's like in my mind that solidifies for me like the thought of this
Why you never respond to me though?
this this intricate network of thinking, feeling, emotions all being tied into one being. That's what solidifies for me the fact that it wasn't just by chance. It wasn't like, hey, this developed into this. It was like, for me, it's like, no, it was made like this from the beginning. Like, this was complex from the beginning. You know what I mean? But that makes sense as to how people can come to the thought of, hey, no, it was this, but then it developed, it came into this way, with the idea of evolution being the
Being the
base
culprit
work.
or the base work.
Being the base work of the belief of
There's no doubt that we are incredibly different.
most definitely.
But I also think
definitely.
that our intelligence, the intelligence that we possess,
We talk about animals. You're supposed to be talking about the religion.
I know we've gone down a track that's totally
Hey,
different,
yeah.
but this is very important because this is part of those perspectives point that you're trying to highlight because
Oh,
you
yeah, the
want to
beginning of the human race.
understand.
Yeah.
You want to understand where this ideology came from. I think that there's a lot of potential. And let me back that up. I
Back
think
it up.
that. There's so many different species. There's so many different interactive, organisms. So many different intricate organisms. So many different families. So many different subspecies. There's so many things that are so complex that
Their own way of communicating within those subcategories.
right. So just because we can't even understand how they work doesn't necessarily mean that we are more special than the other. Keep going. We got a little just sidetracked because we got a person that's interested. But back to what I was saying is that there's an intelligence that exists. We know that. We feel that, right? As humans, we want to be connected to whatever that experience is. And I think that the certain theories kind of highlight what that is. And everybody says, what makes us different from the other organisms? I believe it's the frontal lobe and how that frontal lobe developed. We never know. I know there's theories that it's psilocybe. There's sometimes people think that it's the creation, obviously with the 7-day creation with the Bible, and then there's other people that think that evolution is all it's all about. So as humans, we love to know where we came from, right? That's what we like to do. In terms of how that plays into the current lifestyle that I currently live or what other people live, I think that it's important to note that whatever you feel comfortable with is where you should aim to be. I think people, especially man-made institutions, try to make you feel like you need to be in one rigid spectrum or one rigid closet, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't be yourself individually. Life is very short, and it can sometimes be long, but I think in perspective that life is very short and prevents you from living your fullest life when you instill certain parameters that prevent you from doing that. And that's simply my point. We think about the nervous system, we think about the brain and how it interacts. Some people think that our body is essentially a spacesuit for our brain and our nervous system. So once that nervous system is out, where does that put us after that? Where does that make us sit? How do we feel about that? Does our brain just shut off? Does our spinal cord suddenly stop synapsing? Does the neurons stop synapsing? Where do we end up when the lights turn out? It's scary to think about. But scientifically, we have an ideology. Scientifically, we have an idea. We think that when the lights go out, that's it. But then there's the matter theory, where matter is escaping. They claim that matter or our soul weighs the same amount as a pound, right? I think there's a lot of unknowns, and I think that we like to place knowns and unknowns, and I think that's dangerous sometimes. That's simply my point. People are gonna hate me.
Gonna be gay, nigga. You ain't gonna call it. All the thing, like a whole thing, like a Tribe Called Quest, the whole entire day, son. That's what I'm saying. Like Gabriel's a powerful name. Wear it with pride, son. I'm on them after a mushroom.
Having a good vibe here out in the Greensboro, North Carolina area. We're here at a pizza parlor that's open till about 3 a.m. We're chit-chatting, having a great time. People, like-minded, curious minds are out here having good conversations, so it's nice.
I'm gonna check out your podcast. Yeah, no death.
Take it easy, my brother. Take it easy. So I was just highlighting them kind of on where my thought process is in the terms of relationships and life in general, and it got deep as hell.
Anything can happen, guys. I missed the last minute or two.
So basically what I was telling the audience...
I just stepped away and talked to some random people.
Basically what I was telling the audience is that...
1:56.
I know, it's late. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, baby.
Hey, keep going.
Let's get it. Basically what I was telling the audience is that there is an ever expansive knowledge on how our life ends, and the people that we interact with, and how it plays out into
'Cause
our longevity.
They were just saying some different stuff too.
Right.
They were saying that the angel Gabriel is the one that comes down and takes people up to heaven instead of Jesus. And I was like, I've never heard that before.
See,
I was like, oh snap.
This is kind of that thing about perspective and
Facts.
how it plays
Facts.
into religion and how it plays into what we believe happens when the lights go out. A lot of people, I was telling them earlier that there is that theory that our nervous system and the brain are simply our central core of what we are, and everything else that supports it is considered a spacesuit.
Spacesuit.
It's considered a spacesuit, yeah. And that spacesuit is essential to supporting the nervous system and the brain, and that the brain and the nervous system are simply, I should just say the nervous system, are simply the core being of who we are.
Whoa.
And that when the lights go out, that's it.
Whoa.
Then there's the 1 pound theory that our soul equals a pound, and that when we die, that pound somehow miraculously escapes. And they did this study in a pressurized tube. There's so many things out here.
That still is wild to me. Like, even these past like 2 weeks, I've been more aware, or I've tried to be more aware of like praying to the Holy Spirit and not being like, Jesus do this, Jesus do this. Like this guy preached about how the Holy Spirit is coming and he's our help, and Jesus is gone and he did what he was supposed to do. Now the Holy Spirit is here to help. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Keep going. And now it's like, okay, so the Holy Spirit is doing a lot of work, and I'm asking for a lot of stuff in the name of Jesus. And it's like, I still really don't fully understand like what it is outside of my brain and my internal organs that's like it's just a spirit. Like I don't have a concrete, hey, this is what my spirit is, you know? And it's just so weird. And like I would assume a lot of people are like that. But then you have those who are in the space of like, we got a brain, we got this conscience, we got all these things, and then, as you were just saying, it's like, we got a spacesuit, you know? And that's about as good as I can explain my spirit or my soul or whatever. Like, it's just, really, you can't see it. I can't point it out to you. I can't be like, hey, hold on, give me a second. Let me just, oh, here's my spirit, here's my soul. Here it is. This is what it looks like.
I think the biggest thing that you should gravitate to is that whatever makes you happy and whatever makes you feel whole is the thing that you should accept the most.
I've said that.
Yeah.
I say that quite often. Whenever I mention anything about Jesus, Bible, whatever, which is in a couple of the episodes, I say that. It's like, if you again, as I've said before, if you're listening to this podcast, you are more than grown to make your own decisions. You are an adult. You are past the age to know what you know about this earth and what you believe in. If you're questioning it, yeah, go find some answers.
Yeah.
Whatever religion you find it in, hey, that's you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't force you to one way. She can't force you to one way.
No.
Like, it's on you. It's not on us. Like, in no way, shape, or form is it on us.
Yeah.
We can share whatever we want to share, but it's still up to you to make your decision.
Exactly.
And that's only if you are questioning, is there anything more to life than just living on earth and dying? That's only if you're questioning that. If you're not questioning that, hey, keep going. Do what you do, baby. Live how you're living.
Do you,
know
boo.
what I mean? Do you, boo-boo. Oh, but how does all this affect our dating?
It
Because
did.
we haven't even touched that yet.
I touched a little bit on it.
A little bit?
But
Without me?
I think, we were there. I thought you were. Listen, we're a little tipsy.
No, I
Here's
was talking to the two guys.
Oh
just
my
sitting there.
God. basically what I'm saying.
We ain't say nothing about dating. We mentioned dating. You mentioned how religion and our views affect dating, but we didn't talk about dating. How it actually affects dating.
So I think that it affects dating because everybody wants.
But we also got that CO culture of dating.
We're not. No, we're not even going to bring that up. We're not even going to bring
That's
that up. We're not even going to bring that up because there's a lot of dirt there, and I don't think
I'd say like
it's worth it.
95% unhealthy stuff that's taught,
Yeah.
that we were taught.
And we unlearned that, and that's kind of maybe how I ended up where I am now. I think.
I'm just being real.
And that's fair. I think that dating requires a bit of leniency. Like I said earlier, you have to check your ego. You have to check your ideology a little bit and understand, like, are you strong enough in your faith that you feel like you can date somebody outside of your faith and be comfortable with that person and think
That's
about...
on my Hinge bio. What's your faith and are you serious about it? That's literally my bio.
But I ask you, I challenge you with that because...
Ooh, challenge.
Because what are you looking to get out of with that statement? If you are saying...
Oh, challenge me?
Yeah, or with anybody,
okay.
Because to me, that highlights kind of the box that everybody is kind of placed in, with religion and how they relate to that with other people. I think it's very easy to say, well, prove to me why your religion is better than my religion.
Oh.
Right? Okay, so that's not...
Okay.
And that can be very toxic.
It can be.
Because if you're saying that you're comfortable with that other religion, and then you're turning around and you're asking all these questions and you're trying to figure out, man, is their religion as good as mine? Then maybe you should ask yourself, am I really comfortable in my religion, or am I really comfortable with dating somebody outside of my religion?
Facts. That's true.
Because
that's true.
And
that's
I'm
real.
not saying that everybody should date outside their religion. No, I just think that people should date whoever they want to date and be honest and candid about who those people are.
Facts.
And not expect them to automatically succumb to those parameters that you set for them. I think that, like I said, life is short.
Indeed, very short.
Life is very short.
Somebody's dying right now.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not even in their 30s yet.
No, and it could be even a newborn. Like, they just breathed their first breath in the world, and they've already are suffocating and are dying right as you speak. And that's before they even develop the means to communicate or even understand where they are, who they are as a person. You are currently, the people that are listening to this, at least I have the assumption, people that are listening to this have an idea of who they are as a person. And how that plays out into your dating is very important. You have to be confident in yourself, confident in your faith, confident in your ideology to be able to have those uncomfortable conversations and say, am I comfortable with being with somebody that is completely different with me, who I will wake up to every morning, that I potentially want to wake up to, for the rest of my life, because, that's what marriage is, or, whatever you believe in. Are you comfortable with that in the long run? And if you aren't, maybe you should question, how you're dating and the people that you're dating. And that's fair.
And not even the fact that they're comfortable, because obviously we can succumb or come to any type of, I was about to say mitigate. We can come to any type of, compromise. We can compromise anything to get what we want. Like, America, we over-sexualize everything. Like, I'm going to just leave it there. I'm not going to go into that. That's a whole other rabbit hole. I was about to go down the rabbit hole. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole. But anywho, America can sexualize everything. And so if a lot of men typically, initially, first thoughts are like, oh, she's pretty, I wouldn't mind having sex with her, whatever. It's like, look past that and say, okay, what are other things that are quintessential to this relationship working? Okay, hey, this is my mindset as a human being as far as growth, income, planning out the next few years, This is the type of family that I want. I want to have kids. I want to have this many kids. Just having an idea of that is important. And what you were just saying about like religion and faith, like that's also important, because if you have a religious view or a faith that says you can't date outside of your faith or religion, like that's important to have a maturity to say, okay, I can't do this, or an understanding of, no, this is my religion, but I'm okay with dating outside my religion. Like you have to come to that understanding, because even for me, it's like I put on, like I said, I put it on my Hinge dating profile. It's like, what's your faith and are you serious about it? Like I want to know, are you serious? Like if I'm taking mine seriously, I want whoever I'm dating to take theirs seriously. And it's not not backlash. What's a word for like shot? It's not a shot at any other religion, any other faith-based ideologies or whatever. It's more of a, hey, this is where I'm at. Can we meet at the same place? Yes or no? That's simply it. If it's not, it's cordial. Hey, it's cool. It's just probably not going to work because I'm already set on this, because this is what's best for me.
And I think that what you might have to do, Gabe, is ask yourself, what do I want in the person that I'm seeking? Because I think it's very, very typical for us to see these dating profiles, and especially as a Christian, I'm sure it's difficult because you don't want to come off as prude, and you don't want to come off as, this person that is just closed-minded and incapable of listening and understanding. And that's kind of, the stigma that comes with it. But you also have to ask yourself and be a little tough and understanding and be okay with having no's because of this. But what do you really want, and what do you see yourself? Because once again, if you're aiming to wake up with this person every day, in the future, and you're willing to, have kids with this person and share them with your family and travel with them and spend your rest of your life with them, what do you want them to embody, and how do you see them, and what do you want them to believe in? Because, and this is one of those things, because we like to think that we have an understanding and with our faith and enough that we can date outside of it and be okay with it. And that may be cool for temporary purposes and say like 6 months in, and then all of a sudden you're like, man, I'm getting kind of tired of this. We're not seeing eye to eye. And if that is what's happening, then I would suggest to you to actually be a little bit more clear in what you want and be okay with the no's that may come with that. Yeah. And that's, I know that my perspective is different. And I also know that it can be a little bit more accepted compared to your perspective. And that's just how the world works.
That's what it is.
It is what it is.
It's not a bad thing. It's not name. That's just what it is.
Right. And I have an idea of what I want to bring home, and I want to wake up to every day and have kids with. And I have those certain qualities that I've actually prayed for. And that is what...
You said paid for?
Prayed.
Like a
prayed.
BBL?
No, baby. No, baby.
My bad.
Prayed.
My fault.
Prayed.
I thought you said paid. My fault.
No. I do not condone prostitution or BBLs. No. The qualities...
Men with some extensions. And I'm not talking hair.
Oh, my God. I actually... Shut up. I've actually taken this from Viola Davis's book, which is called Finding Me. And it's an audiobook. It's great. She's won a Grammy about it. If anybody knows anything about Viola Davis, you know that she lived a very hard life coming up. Talking dirt poor, abusive household, all the nights, racism all throughout her life. Crazy stuff. But
Viola Davis is old, but she's not old yet.
She's middle-aged. But the point that I'm getting at is that at one point, when she started getting her success, she realized that, she wanted a significant other, but she wasn't necessarily being intentional about it, right? So she talked to her therapist, and her therapist suggested that, maybe you should pray for the qualities that you are looking for. And so that when they approach her or when they happen, she recognizes them and it happens. And it actually did. It happened. She found somebody that matched exactly with her qualities, and God provided her with that. And I think that's beautiful. And there is a real beautiful thing and understanding what you want and being able to act upon that and find that, or it finds you. But I think until that happens, I think a lot of us, especially a lot of us in our age group, currently in our 20s, we're kind of wandering around aimlessly, not necessarily knowing what we want. And so a lot of times we'll swipe right, you know what I'm saying? We'll buy that drink for that one person that we think is cute. We'll go on these little one-in dates, and we don't really know what we're looking for. And then at the end of the date, we're either like, man, that was a really great date. And then we go on the second date and we're like, it's not the guy that I'm looking for. They're not the girl that I'm looking for. Or we'll say,
wait, I ain't been on no dates. Let me calm down.
Shut up.
Hold on.
Let
me pull back a little bit.
But I challenge you. My point is this. If you want a certain quality or certain qualities in a person, then that is the only thing that you need to be focusing on. Right. If you feel like you need to dumb down who you are in order to get a date, that's not worth it, because at the end of the day, it's just going to fall through and you're just going to end up wasting time. If anything is more valuable...
I feel like you get hurt in some way, shape, or form.
You're going to get hurt.
You're going to feel something
Because Gabe, time is something that we do not get back.
You don't get that
People
back.
can
Don't
deposit
time,
money
bro.
in a bank. They can invest money in a bank. They can invest it in stocks. They can do all these things. Money comes and goes all the time, but time does not come back. Once this night is over, we're already ended the past day. We started this night in another day, and we're already in the early mornings of the next day, and the past is done. The past is done. We won't get that back. Yesterday is over.
Today's day is yesterday's tomorrow.
Yeah. We are in our late 20s right now. We're approaching our 30s, where it's supposedly... Yeah. I didn't mean to shock you, but... But we're approaching our 30s.
You're what, 20s?
I'm 27.
27?
I
God,
know.
you got time.
Shut up.
Loki.
We're both in our late 20s, all right?
29.
We're approaching, shut up. We're approaching the 30s. And that's supposed to be the time that we supposedly figure things out. But I'm going to tell you right now, if we don't understand the concept of time, we will not go anywhere. And that applies to more than just relationships. It applies to more than just family. It also applies to our livelihood. What are we doing financially? What are we doing? What are our interests? Are we pushing for the interests that we're actually interested in? Or are we just letting time just go by and let whatever the hell happen to us happen to us?
That's slothfulness, y'all. I talked about that the other day.
You cannot take time for advantage, because I guarantee you could have a. And I'm not. Listen. For this podcast and what I'm about to say, I'm not trying to speak negativity into the existence, but what I'm saying is this. Gabe and I could die in a car crash right now tonight. Nice. And at the end of that night, we could ask ourselves, before we die, what have we done that has significantly impacted who we are as a person and how we relate to the world and our place in the world? And is it impactful enough to where we feel like we have actually done what we feel like we should do in this world?
Nice.
Are we with the people that we truly love and truly appreciate? I think that's a very big thing to think about. And I don't think it's something that people think about on the regular, because we're so caught up in, other things, whether that be relationships, whether that be that money or whatever. That's great. Yep. But we're at a crucial point in our lives in our late 20s, where we're about to reach the cusp of what we call the understanding, and where things are supposed to click. Where do you want it to click? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Who do you see yourself with? How important is that to you? And is it worth your time?
How do you see yourself? Because health is important too.
Health is very important.
A lot of my high school homies, they a lot bigger than what they was when
hey,
we graduated.
listen. I've seen a lot of unhealthy people my age, and I'm very, I am shocked. And don't get me wrong, I've had my own bouts of unhealthiness, but
Girl, you look good. You do jujitsu.
Thank you,
you're
baby.
lifting
Thank you,
weights.
baby. Thank you, baby. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You look good too.
Stop lying to the people in TV land.
Don't let Gabe fool you, y'all. He out here with a 6-pack. Dark skin.
6-pack of Heineken. I don't even drink Heineken. What the world? That was
He
funny.
out here, dark skin, long hair,
That's
shaved
funny.
head. He's trying to do something to y'all.
My hair is long. Look at my hair. Look at my hair.
Nigga, we got the
Bruh,
same.
that's
You know what I just
long.
realized? We got the same hairstyle.
No, mine is on the.
No, nigga, we
You
got
shaved
the
your
same.
sides.
We got the same hairstyle and almost the same length, almost.
I forgot.
But listen, if there's anything that you learn from this podcast, is this: time is crucial. What you want is important. What you need is important,
Facts.
and what you believe is important.
On my mama.
And if that is something that is essential to your core, then go with it. But if it's not, and you're not comfortable with it, then leave it alone.
On King
And
James.
stop expecting people to succumb to your comfort level, because that's just not going to happen.
It ain't gonna
Except when it applies to your significant other and the person that you see yourself waking up next to every day, having kids with, showing your family to. That is important.
And that person is going to be equally yoked to you. It has to be.
It has to be.
And that doesn't just apply to Christians. That applies to anybody.
Everybody.
Like if that person isn't equally yoked, like if y'all aren't on the same level, same type of eternity vision, same type of maturity vision, then it's not going to work. But if you are, it's most likely going to work for you. You know
Do
what I
it.
mean?
Do
There's
it.
marriages of Christians, non-Christians, Hindu, whatever, and they work and they last forever.
Makes you happy, makes you happy.
But there's also divorces that happen in all these types of different relationships. So you just got to know what's going to work for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's 2:18. I need to go home.
We need to go to bed
I need
again.
to go to sleep.
It's late.
It's late.
We had a
It
good
is
night, though.
late.
We had a great night.
This was fun. She beat me in so we went to Boxcar. Y'all have heard about Boxcar. And they have a basketball shooting game. You get like 45 minutes?
No, it's shorter than that.
I said 45 minutes.
Nigga.
It's like 45 seconds or whatever. Like 40 seconds, whatever.
We bowling a whole
And-
exhibition match.
And you have to get and you have to get to a certain point to get like the extra time. I have never not gotten the extra time. Tonight I did not get the extra time. She did not also get the extra time. But she
Somehow
got
one
49 points. I got 46 points and my ego was hurt. But
was
then
sick.
I
sick.
demolished her in air hockey and I felt a little bit better. Then you killed me in Tekken. I suck at Tekken. Somehow you knew the Capoeira guy. I was trying to find him, but you got him before me.
Everybody knows that Eddie is the best character on Tekken.
They're getting loud. They're not even upset. It's nothing dangerous. They literally just being mad.
It's time to go, Gabe. Let's go then. Let's wrap this up.
We out. Hey, hope y'all enjoy this. It's a long one. It's a long one. You know what I'm saying? Take you a couple days. Peek through every episode, every other minute. Do like 10 minutes a day. You know what I'm saying? You'll finish before the year's over. But hey, we appreciate y'all. I just hit the table. I'm not supposed to do that. We appreciate y'all. Y'all be easy, man. Peace.
Thanks for having me. Bye.